Hey guys, Richard here, e-bike reviews and adventures. We're going to go for a little ride and talk about this new Magicycle bike. Whoa, yeah. Woo! Alright, appreciate Magicycle for sending us the Ocelot Pro 2.0. They just released this a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, so appreciate Magicycle for sending this out to us. Now, if you're new to the channel, or let's just back up and say, if you are a long-term viewer of the channel, you know I had the Magicycle Deer 20-inch last year. Love that bike. Absolutely one of the best bikes I've had. Made it my personal bike, put a lot of miles on it. But different circumstances, we ended up getting rid of it, and I actually sold it to my buddy Ron, who lives right there. And so he loves it. He's enjoying it now. And I've kind of missed it, right? So Magicycle came out and announced the new Ocelot Pro and said, hey man, we want to send one to you so you can check it out. So I'm so thankful they did, because it is very similar to the Deer 20, but not the same. We'll be doing a comparison video talking about those. But today, let's talk more about this Ocelot Pro. Now, Magicycle first came out with the Ocelot, then they came out with the Ocelot Pro, which was, you know, the upgraded version, and it had a bigger battery, I believe, and maybe a couple other little things. Well, this year they came out with a 2.0. So what's different about the 2.0? The 2.0 has a different motor, it looks like, because the Deer and the Ocelot from days past had a motor that would, you know, if I'm not mistaken, it would peak out at about 1,000 watts, and if I remember correctly, it was around 95 or 96 newton meters of torque. They're advertising this one as being a 750 watt motor, but it peaks at 1,500, so that's huge. I mean, that's a pretty big jump considering what it can peak out at. And they're saying that this one has 100 newton meters of torque. But anyway, so that's one of the differences. But the main difference, guys, the main difference that has changed, that I love, Magicycle has embraced the idea of a dual sensor bike. You first heard about it, I believe Wired came out with a dual sensor technology, and they started talking about it, but they didn't really promote it much. Then Truxes came out with the same thing, and I promoted that on this channel because it's huge. You know, and what I'm talking about is you have a bike that has both cadence and torque sensor built into it. And that's just absolutely huge, and it really solves big problems for a lot of people who don't know which one they should buy. Should I get a torque? Should I get a cadence? And they solve that problem. And, you know, with this new technology, well, Magicycle has embraced it. So the Ocelot Pro 2.0 has, oh, let's get back over here. It does have this dual sensor, and I suspect, even though they haven't officially said anything, that all the other Magicycle bikes will probably come out with this new sensor as well. And I just think that's the way forward. I've mentioned that on this channel before. I think that's the new technology that everyone's going to embrace as we, you know, move along over the next 12 months or so. But, oh my goodness, this bike is amazing. I mean, it's better than, well, it performs better than the Deer 20 of last year's model, other than this one does not have a dual suspension, and I do miss that. That dual suspension is super nice. But aside from that, man, this thing's got huge giddy up and go. And, you know, the top speed, I'm not sure. We'll check it out right here. We're just doing throttle only. You can do full throttle no matter what pass level you're in, so that's nice. I'm currently just sitting at pass 4, and it has 7 levels of pedal assist, but, you know, throttle only, I'm sitting here, I'm topping out at 29, that's good. 28.6. The Magicycle Deer, if I'm not mistaken, that thing would top out about 30. Okay, so I'll have to get my buddy Ron out and challenge him to a race. So they may have done something to throttle this back, but then again, there could be some settings in here I can change too to maybe do things different. One thing I don't care for, doggone it, and they kind of missed the boat on this one, and that is we got the same problem that everybody keeps doing, and that is when you have a bike that goes more than 20 miles an hour, you've heard me say it before, you need a different crankset and you need different gears on the back, because they keep putting this 48 tooth crank on the front and the 14 by 28 gears in the back. And that means, hey, we're near the farm. I hear the roosters out there. Oh, we got donkeys too. Donkeys and roosters this morning. So the problem is when you reach about 20 miles an hour, so you start ghost pedaling. So they could have fixed that by a couple of things. You know, they could have given us an 8-speed, different gear set. They could have given us a bigger front crank, and that would have helped all of that, because this is a powerful bike. It's a fast bike. It's designed to be used that way, but you can't pedal it. Let's just try it. So we're in pedal assist 4. This one ships with 7 levels of pedal assist. With this display, you can go in there and change it. You can have 5, 7, or 9, and they're shipping it with 7, which is nice. So we're going to bump it up to 5. We're just going to go ahead and go on up to 7. Well, that's interesting. All right, so we're up at 7. So now we're pedaling. I'm at 20, and I'm already ghost pedaling. There's 22. I can't even keep up with it. You know, 20, I'm ghost pedaling. 22, it's beyond me to be able to keep up with. I'm just ghost pedaling, air pedaling, you know. But as long as I'm doing that, we're hitting 20, 28, 29. Again, just ghost pedaling. Because, you know, I've got no resistance. And that kind of stinks. It really does. That stinks a whole lot. Because, doggone it, amazing bike. And it's got that big fatal flaw that they all come with. It's just, what can you do? Well, what can you do? So you can change out the crank. Let's just stop here for a minute. Let's just stop over here on this side of the road. What can you do to fix that? Well, you can buy another crank, which a lot of people do. It's pretty common. And you know, this one looks like there's plenty of room back here in the frame, so we can get a bigger crank. It would fit on there just fine, and put a 52 tooth on there. That's going to give you more resistance at that top speed. Woo, my camera down. The other thing you can do is go ahead and change out the rear cogs, and just go ahead and get you something like an 11 by, you know, 28 or 32 or whatever you can come up with. So that works too. The magic is having a smaller gear right here, because this is your top speed right here. This is your top gear, and it's a 14. And if it was an 11, we'd be able to pedal comfortably, get good pedal resistance all the way up to, man, noisy, all the way up to about 28 miles an hour with no problem. So, man, I don't know why companies keep doing this. There's just not enough people talking about it. There's not enough feedback. Hey, before I do that, let's go ahead and show you real quick, so I can show you what we're dealing with here. So this is the Magicycle Ocelot Pro 2.0. Nice kind of tires up here, through axle, quick release. We don't have any baskets, but we do have the basket mount suspension, of course, here on the front forks. One of the things I had to do on my Magicycle Deer 20 is I had to add an extension here to raise the handlebars up just a little bit. And honestly, I'm 6'1", but I've got long monkey arms, and it's still a little bit low. I mean, if it was up 2 inches, it'd be perfect. So I'm leaning over just a smidgen, so I will be making that modification. Down here, let's see, what do we have? So we don't have the suspension on the rear like you do on the Deer, which is fine. This one wasn't designed that way. That's not the purpose. We do have a nice rear rack back here. The seat is okay. This is a Magicycle seat. Not too bad. I will be putting my favorite seat on that. It's part of my customization that I do. And yeah, nice 20 amp hour battery. This is a 52 volt. And what a 52 volt does for you versus a typical 48 is that it's going to give you more power. So you're going to have that fast speed. It's going to contribute to that. So it's going to allow you to have, you know, fast giddy up and go, and you can have faster top end as well. But the problem is with a 52 volt, it's sucking more energy than a 48 volt. So it's going to reduce the battery, and you know, it could potentially reduce the distance you're able to travel over the long haul. But guys, remember we said this is a dual sensor? All that changes when you switch it from the speed sensor. Boop, can you see that? When you switch it from a speed sensor, which is indicated by the S, which also means cadence. Don't know why we have two names for that. Cadence, speed sensor, it's the same. Or by hitting the information button right there, boom, holding it down, it changes to a T, which means torque. So when you're in torque mode, you're putting more effort into it to get the bike moving, so therefore there's less drain on the battery and you can still get a long distance. Love, love, love that, because when you're out here driving around and you want exercise, oh my goodness, put it in torque sensor mode, get some exercise. But if you want a leisurely ride, maybe it's blazing hot like it is in the summertime here in Florida, and it's 100 degrees and high humidity. Man, I don't want to be riding around and using this torque sensor. I've got the option then to switch it back over to the cadence sensor and just casually and easily enjoy my ride without putting any effort into it. Huge benefit having that technology. If you're someone who is looking to purchase a bike, you're shopping now and you're trying to figure out what you want, spend the money to get something like the Ocelot Pro 2.0 here that has the dual sensor. Then, after you get it and you've ridden it for a couple of weeks, send me an email, send me a message, and thank me, because you will be so happy you did. You will just be so happy you did. So right now we're in torque sensor mode, so look, I'm not changing the gears. I can pedal harder, pedal faster, and the bike goes faster. I can slow down and pedal a little less, and the bike is slowing down. There's none of this surging like you get from a cadence sensor. Every time you switch the pass level, look, I can switch the pass level, and we're going to put it back down in 1. Let's see what it does. All right, that's cool. Even though you're in pass 1, it allows you to, as long as you're in torque sensor mode, you can continue pedaling and go fast and move on up. But this one doesn't, so you are kind of tied to your pass levels. So by putting it in pass 2, we can go a little faster. Pass 3, 4, that allows us to go a little faster. Yeah, this is a great bike for exercising. Hey, I've only ridden once in 3 weeks, guys. I just released another video kind of talking about that a little bit, but I've been out of sight, out of mind for 3 weeks. And I can tell, oh my goodness. We're gonna bump this back over into cadence. There we go. So we can just leisurely enjoy this ride. So tell me, what do you think about Magicycle embracing this new technology? And what do you think about the Ocelot Pro 2.0? This is not the full review. This is just a quick little introduction to it. We've got to keep this, got to ride this bike for a little while, get familiar with it. So, hey, it might be a week or so before we come out with a full review and tell you all the ins and outs. But I just wanted to get out here and introduce it to you and show you what we got. Love it, love it, love it so far. So if you're thinking about picking one up, make sure you follow the link down below and support our channel. If you like this video, give me a big thumbs up. If you have any questions, drop them down below for the community to answer. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe, because we have content that's not just about Magicycle or the Ocelot Pro, but we have all kinds of content for everyone, and I think you will enjoy it. Hey, I will see you in another video real soon. Ride responsibly and ride safe.